Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Leaper. I'm going to be asking the question, is Leaper the Beacon Runner King? To start, Leaper has an ability called Leap. Basically means he can leap in a chosen direction at a set amount of distance up to a maximum distance. Not quite sure what that maximum distance is actually in game. He does have a maximum distance to jump though. His passive ability, as he's a hermit, is dot, so damage over time. So when you fire his weapons and deal damage to enemies, they'll take passive damage over time. He has 75,000 HP, which has been the same since pre-alpha all the way up to now in alpha, which is still the same. And he has 2 medium weapons and 1 light. Now this video, you'll notice, is already in a different format. You'll notice that I'm already into a match and showcasing Leaper. And the reason is I kind of wanted to do a bit of a different format for this video. And the reason is when I ask the question, is Leaper the Beacon King? I'm inclined to say no. No, he's not. And here's my reasoning. To start, I think Leaper's a very squishy mech, a very squishy robot. I feel like he hasn't got the firepower to be able to push a beacon. So he doesn't have, he can't output enough damage when pushing a beacon to be able to take enemies and destroy enemies when they're on a beacon. Most of the time I find that he dies quite quickly, and I'm just not able to output the damage. I've tried numerous different combinations with the different weapons that we have currently in the game. The reason why I think he can't push a beacon is possibly because he doesn't have the HP. So you could think of it as either he doesn't have the HP or doesn't have the firepower. If he had the HP, the firepower may be okay, but he just doesn't have the firepower, so he just can't push a beacon, really, is the whole first point. Now, he can quickly jump into a beacon, which is brilliant, but because of his playstyle, he doesn't have any way to mitigate damage. Now, what I mean by that is he doesn't have any healing. So you take a look at the Imperials, they have a shield, they can heal they can heal the shield back if they don't take damage, so he doesn't have that, as he's a hermit. He also doesn't have any way to heal his health like the Bastions do. They have passive healing because he's a hermit. Now, the hermit's playstyle is dot damage, and I feel like they're very good at dealing damage at range. So his playstyle for Leaper is mixed because he's got a passive ability of being able to push into beacons, and his abilities really is to push beacons, but his passive ability says that he should be dealing damage from mid-range. So when he quickly jumps into a beacon, he hasn't got any way to be able to get back out of the beacon if he needs to. He's got no way to evade his push, which I think is one of the big downfalls of Leaper. Now, I'm not going to be Mr. Negative here and not try and provide some sort of solution that might be able to fix him. So here are my suggestions. So the step one would be step one, or first way I think I would say, would be to increase his HP. So currently it's at 75,000, which it's been all the way since beta. I'm going to pop up some footage on your screen. This has been showcased in a previous video, so don't be thinking it's deja vu. You've probably seen it before if you've watched some of my previous early videos. He's always had 75,000 HP. I feel like he's never quite it's never quite been it. I feel like he could give it a good go at fighting enemies, but he just always gets overwhelmed. So my suggestion at this point would be to increase his HP by 75,000, I'm thinking, up to 100,000. Now that might be a bit overkill, but I feel like with 2 medium weapons and 1 light, I feel like that would be a fair balance. Obviously it's just theoretical, and obviously without putting it into practice we wouldn't know. I don't think this is the best solution, hence why it's my first one. I'll save the best till last. But by increasing his HP, he then doesn't have the firepower, which I think is probably one of the main reasons I feel like he doesn't do well, is because he doesn't have the firepower. So my second suggestion would be to give him 1 heavy, a medium and a light. Now I'm pretty certain a heavy weapon is coming for the hermits in the next update, so my solution would be to give him a heavy weapon, a medium and a light weapon, so that he does then have the firepower. What this will do is this will increase his DPS, his damage per second, as he will have a heavy weapon which will deal more damage than a medium weapon. I think this will make him a bit of a glass cannon, for want of a better word. He's got the high damage, but he can very easily be taken out due to him not having the best health in the game. My only other concern would be, is he going to be too similar to Jumper? And my answer to that to myself would probably be no, because of the playstyle. Jumper tends to be one of those characters that you hang at the back with the sniper. You don't really see many Jumpers with shotguns. You tend to hang at the back, tend to pick off your enemies, whereas Jumper's going to be one where you're pushing for beacons, so you're not going to be hanging back at the back of the map. My third suggestion would be to give him an extra dash. Now I think this is probably going to be a bit of a danger zone, because if you give him an extra dash as he's got now, he's going to be very similar to Jumper in the fact that Jumper has 2 jumps, and he's then going to have 2 jumps himself as Leaper, 2 leaps. And I think what this means is you will need to nerf his ability, which might be counterproductive. So my suggestion would be to decrease the range you can jump, but give him 2 jumps. What this means is he will be able to jump into a beacon, deal damage, and then jump back out and not take too much damage himself. What I wouldn't suggest doing is just give him a set range, because again it might look like pre-alpha. I'll put some footage of some of the issues that were occurred with Leaper. So I don't think this is the best solution either. You might want to shorten the cooldown, but then per jump, but that might work. I feel like that might be able to do it for, I think it's 12 seconds currently, I think. I'll correct it on screen if it's not. I think it's 12 seconds. It might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. I feel like we're probably dropping it down to 8 seconds from the minute you leap off the ground might be feasible. I think then you would be able to jump every 6 seconds or so, which might be a little bit overkill, maybe. But does he need it? Kind of. I would only suggest doing one of these, not multiple of them, because then you were going to end up with something that's going to be very powerful. Which, not necessarily a bad thing, I just wouldn't suggest having one Mech that's more powerful than the others. So to sort of kind of sum up, I think that Leaper just doesn't capture the right role that he's intended for. He's too squishy, he doesn't have enough HP, nor does he have enough firepower to make up for his lower HP. The best way to fix him, I think, is going to be give him extra firepower by adding a heavy weapon to him and removing one of the medium weapons, so then he will have a heavy weapon, a medium weapon and a light. I think this is probably going to be the best solution to fix Leaper. On that note, let's take a look at some action clips featuring Leaper. Now this probably isn't going to be the best action clip montage that you're going to get, but I will try my best to put together one that showcases Leaper in a good light.